As everyone knows, Alvin's headquarters is located behind his mother's jewelry shop. Once it had been the storeroom, but Gracie So had let Alvin take it over for his detective club. Now the cramped concrete wall space looked more like a police squad room. Tan Wei Ling's collection of criminal records batched in box files stacked on a shelf. Photographs of sinister criminals stared down from the wall behind her desk. The room had two doors. One led into Gracie's shop and was always kept closed. The other was the official entrance to Alvin's headquarters. It led outside into the car park. Beside it, on a small window, was a big sign designed by Ma Wong. On her computer, it announced So and Crow Investigators. We investigate anything, no case too big or too small. Alvin unlocked the car park door and went straight to his usual chair at the long table in the center of the room. Without a moment's delay, he set to work drawing up charts. On the first sheet of paper he wrote, Victim, Jamie, real name Jose Chan, Diva, winner of Star Maker Talent Quest, strangled in her dressing room. Alvin reached for a fresh piece of paper. He consulted a newspaper story and began writing his second chart. Suspects. Who went to her dressing room before the murder? Who was the last person to see her alive? Did she have any enemies? Who stood to gain from her death? Inside job? Alvin placed his pen to one side, jumped up and taped the two charts to the wall. He heard the door open behind him and discovered Wei Ling and Azizul had arrived. Wei Ling crossed to her desk and sat down. She reached for her incident book and prepared to take notes. She wore glasses and her trademark white t-shirt and blue jeans. Alvin stole a quick glance at her thin arms, noticing that her new muscles seemed to have grown even more pronounced. While Alvin thought the muscles suited her, he'd never said so to her face. All those regular sessions at the gym had paid off, and that made him wonder whether her boyfriend, Tony Hall, had returned from America. Where is Tony? Alvin asked. Isn't he back yet? Despite the fact that Wei Ling had once been his girlfriend, Alvin was relieved when Tony took over. He liked the American with the long, sun-bleached hair and eyes as blue as ocean. Tony always wore Billabong surfing shirts and board shorts, but his casual appearance and lazy drawl masked a sharp intelligence. He called last night from San Francisco, explained Wei Ling. He said he should be back in 2 weeks. It is like he's been away forever, Alvin observed, yearning a fierce glare from Wei Ling in return. For his part, Azizul kept his thoughts to himself. He believed Tony had found a new girlfriend in San Francisco and would never come back. But when he remembered how good Wei Ling was at karate, he wisely said nothing. Azizul wore a hoodie and his favorite baggy shorts. He wore a cap sitting back to the front of his head. Spotting the charts, he asked Alvin, why would anyone want to strangle Jamie? I thought she was beautiful and very talented, Wei Ling said sharply. You should not judge women only by their appearances. She was our idol. She was an inspiration to every girl in this city. That is why we are trying to find her killer, Alvin said forcefully. Azizu grinned. Sure, but have you talked to Sergeant Sue about us helping out on the case? I plan to call him, Alvin replied. Make sure he knows we are available. He will do what he always does, Azizu commented. He will tell you not to interfere with police business, but in the end he will need you to crack the case. He cast a look at Wailing and fiddled with his cap, twisting it around a couple of times. It was a habit Wailing detested. She had a beauty spot on one cheek. When she was upset, a little muscle beside it twitched and made it bob up and down, as it was doing right then. What she did not know was that Azizu liked teasing her, just to see her beauty spot bobbing up and down like a bouncing ball on his dad's TV screen when he was having one of his therapy sessions. At that moment, the trap door opened. Rafe and Mars entered. Rafe was Alvin's best friend and chief investigator. His real name was Rafferty, but everyone called him Rafe. He was so handsome, he looked like a member of a boy band. Today, Rafe favored the Dangerfield label. He wore a grey Snakes and Sinners shirts in a chambray fabric over black Dangerfield no-wave slim fit denim jeans. Rafe's girlfriend Mars had chosen her black Stella McCartney embroidered sleeve top over the same designer's organic denim skinny top trousers. Azizu thought she looked like a skinny black rose. She took a seat at the long table and dabbed her eyes with a tissue. Wailing noticed at once that Mars had been crying. Mars, what is the matter? She asked her friend, crossing the room and sitting beside her. It is the murder, Ling, Mars answered. Jamie was so important to me, and we were so shocked. We were actually there in the theater last night, Rafe explained. The concert was sold out. Then just before the show, they told us what had happened. We could not believe it. Awesome, said Azizu. It was not, snapped Mas. Everyone was crying. It was like we were all at a funeral instead of a pop concert. Alvin took notes. Did you see anything suspicious? Rafi shook his head. Not in all that confusion. No. There were security guards everywhere. They were trying to get everyone to go home. He glanced at Alvin's second chart and gave a rueful smile. My thoughts exactly, he said. It must have been an inside job. There is no way an intruder could have got past all those guards and into the theater. But who'd want Jamie dead? Wailing asked. No one in particular. Find the motive and we will find the killer, Rafi answered, expanding on his mantra. It always comes down to motive. Motive unlocks every mystery. I think down to motive. Motive unlocks every mystery. I think it was someone she knew, someone she worked with. Money, jealousy, who knows? Mars looked at Alvin and dabbed her eyes again. But where do we start? Azizu twisted his cap. At the crime scene, of course. Great thinking, Azizu, agreed Alvin. The first place to look for clues is at the theater. And that is exactly what Sergeant Sue will be doing, cut in Wailing. We cannot just go there without asking his permission first. We do not need his permission, Alvin argued. He can't stop us going to the theater and looking around. He sighed. He always had the same argument with wailing in on every case. Anyway, I think it is easier to apologize after than ask for permission first. What? Wailing blazed. Alvin is right, said Azizu, flicking his cap around back to the front. He was rewarded with the sight of Wailing's beauty spot bobbing. We will never get anywhere if we had to ask for Sergeant's permission all the time. Rafi got to his feet. Wailing is correct. We should not upset Sergeant Sue, he said, trying to keep the peace. But there is no harm in us having a look outside the theater, is there? But what if he sees us? Wailing persisted. There is no crime in having a look around outside, Alvin retorted. We just will not go in. Wailing fired him a suspicious look. Are you sure that is all you want to do? Alvin shrugged. Would I lie? Wailing stared at him speechless. Azizu jumped up. We are wasting time. Let's go. He tossed a lopsided grin at Wailing. Hey, Alvin's given you his word. What more do you want?